Let me ask you something honest. How much money did you spend at the grocery store last month? Go ahead and add it up across the whole year. For most families, that number lands somewhere between $3,000 and $6,000. Every single year. Gone. And every season, millions of people try to fix that. They buy seeds. They buy soil. They drag a hose out every single evening after work. They water their tomatoes, their beans, their squash. And then one heat wave comes, 2 weeks of brutal sun with no rain, and it is all dead. Every bit of it. Here is what nobody tells you. That is not bad luck. That is not your fault. That is simply the wrong plant list. Today I'm going to show you 7 plants that do not just survive without water. They thrive on neglect. They grow deeper, spread wider, and produce more food the drier conditions get. Some of these plants are thousands of years old. Some are native right here in North America. And at least 2 of them are so productive that food scientists are actively studying them as the answer to global food security. Stay with me until plant number 7, because it is the one most people completely overlook, and it might be the single most valuable food plant you can grow in your backyard starting today. Before we get into the list, drop a comment right now and tell me what growing zone you are in, or just your country if you're watching from outside the U.S. I want to know where you are, because some of these plants are going to be a perfect match for your exact climate, and I want you to know which ones belong in your garden. Leave it below and keep watching. Here is the real problem with the way most of us were taught to garden. We were taught to grow annuals. Tomatoes, cucumbers, beans, zucchini. Every single year, you start completely from scratch. A tiny seedling sitting in dry soil with almost no roots, totally exposed to whatever the weather decides to throw at it. One bad week, and your whole season collapses. But there's an entirely different category of food plant that almost nobody talks about. Plants that are not starting over every year. Plants that have spent the last 2, 5, sometimes 20 years building root systems that go 10, 15, even 25 feet into the ground. While your topsoil is cracked and baking in the sun, these plants are pulling moisture from places your annual vegetables could never even reach. That is the foundation of what we are building today. And once you understand it, you will never look at your garden the same way again. Plant 1, the Chinese Jujube. Plant number 1 is something most people in the West have never heard of, but Chinese farmers have been growing it for over 4,000 years, and there's a very good reason why. This is the Chinese Jujube, also called the Chinese date. And one mature Jujube tree can produce up to 100 pounds of fruit per year in the same heat that kills your tomato plants inside of a week. Here's why it works. The Jujube did not just adapt to harsh conditions. It evolved inside them. It grew up in the dry basins of northern China, in alkaline soils, in saline soils, with almost zero rainfall. Its roots go 12 to 25 feet deep. Its leaves have a natural waxy coating that reflects heat and locks moisture inside the plant. While everything around it is burning up, the Jujube is quietly doing fine. Now here is the mistake most people make with this tree. They hear the words drought-tolerant, and they plant it in the ground and walk away in year 1. Then it stays small and struggles, and they think it does not work. Here is the rule with Jujube, and really with every plant on this list. Drought-tolerant does not mean drought-proof in the first year. While those deep roots are establishing, you still need to give it a deep watering every 7 to 14 days for the first 2 growing seasons. After that, it genuinely does not need you anymore. One more thing about the Jujube that makes it special. It blooms late in spring, which means it completely skips the late frost events that wipe out apple and peach crops in Zone 6 nearly every other year. Reliable fruit, year after year, with almost zero input from you. Plant 2, the pomegranate. Plant number 2 is one that more people recognize, but almost nobody realizes just how tough it actually is. In Nevada and parts of California, there are pomegranate trees that are 44 years old and still producing up to 179 pounds of fruit per tree per year. Let that number sit for a moment. The pomegranate does not just tolerate heat. It needs it. Scientists measure its fruit development in something called growing degree days, which is basically a measure of accumulated heat over time. A pomegranate needs around 2,500 growing degree days from first bloom to fully ripe fruit. That means it is biologically designed for long, scorching summers. The hotter your season, the better your harvest. And while most fruit trees struggle in alkaline and saline soils, the kind of soil that dominates most of the American Southwest, the pomegranate genuinely does not care. It grows as a multi-stem shrub or a single-trunk tree. You can use it as a hedge, an orchard specimen, or a living fence line. It produces for decades with almost no intervention. If you are in Zone 7 through 11 and you are not growing a pomegranate, you are leaving free food on the table every single year. Plant 3, Prickly Pear Cactus. Now we are getting into territory that will genuinely surprise you. Most food crops stop functioning above 95 degrees. Their cells start to fail. They shut down. Scientists have recorded prickly pear cactus maintaining active photosynthesis, actively growing, 149 degrees Fahrenheit soil temperature. That is not a typo. That is not an exaggeration. 149 degrees. Here is how it does it. Most plants breathe during the day. They open their pores, pull in carbon dioxide, and in doing so, lose enormous amounts of water. In a drought, that process becomes a death sentence. The prickly pear does something completely different. It keeps its pores sealed shut during the heat of the day. Then at night, when temperatures drop, it opens up and absorbs all the carbon dioxide it needs. By morning, it has everything it requires to grow. Zero water wasted. Its root system is shallow but enormous, spreading up to 8 feet in all directions, capturing moisture from even the lightest desert rain before it can evaporate. And here is what surprises most people. This is not just a survival plant. It is a production plant. The flat green pads, called nopales, are a vegetable that you can harvest up to 6 times per year. The fruit, called tunas, comes in late summer and is sweet, deeply nutritious, and high in antioxidants. You get 2 completely different food harvests from one plant that you never have to water. If you're in a wildfire-prone area, there is one more benefit worth knowing. The pads of a prickly pear are 90% water. Planting a row of them around the perimeter of your property creates a natural fire break. Flames simply go out when they reach it. How many of these have you actually grown before? Let me know in the comments. And if any of these are new to you, tell me which one you're most interested in trying. I read every comment on this channel. Plant 4, the fig. The fig is one of the oldest cultivated food plants on Earth, and the reason it has been grown continuously for thousands of years is not just the fruit. It is the survival mechanism. When a fig tree runs out of water, it does something extraordinary. It drops its leaves on purpose. It pulls every bit of its energy and resources inward to protect the core of the tree. Inside its cells, it accumulates a compound called proline, essentially a biological stress protectant, that keeps its tissues alive and soil moisture levels so low that most other plants would have been dead for weeks. Then, when the rain finally comes back, it leafs out again within days and begins producing fruit almost immediately. A mature fig can produce 2 full crops per year. The first crop, called the breba crop, comes in spring on wood from the previous year. The second and larger main crop comes in late summer. And figs begin fruiting in as little as 2 years from a cutting. Not from a young nursery tree, from a simple cutting pressed into soil. If you live in Zone 7 through 11 and you want one tree that rewards patience and punishes neglect in the best possible way, the fig is your tree. Plant 5, the mulberry. Most people think of the mulberry as a weed tree, something that drops berries on your driveway and stains everything purple. That is the most expensive misunderstanding in homestead gardening. Let me give you one number. A mature mulberry tree can produce the equivalent of 33 tons of fresh fruit per hectare. Your chickens will lose their minds for them. Your kids will lose their minds for them. But the fruit is actually the least interesting thing about this tree. The leaves of the mulberry contain up to 34% protein, higher than most legume forages. In a food system where you're also keeping chickens, ducks, goats, or rabbits, you can cut branches from a mulberry every few months and feed those high-protein leaves directly to your animals right in the middle of summer, when your pasture grass is brown and finished. Your animals stay healthy and fed. Your land stays productive. And the mulberry just keeps growing back. It establishes fast, tolerates drought once rooted, and grows in almost every soil type. If you are building a food system and not just a garden, the mulberry belongs in it. Plant 6, Pigeon Pea. This one is for everyone watching from a hot climate and thinking, okay, but what about protein? What about something I can actually cook and eat as a staple? Meet the pigeon pea. In the dead of a Texas summer, 100 degrees plus, 6 straight weeks with no rain, pigeon peas have been observed not just surviving, but continuing to grow and produce, long after every weed around them has already given up and died. The pigeon pea is a short-lived perennial legume. It lives 3 to 5 years. It produces seeds with 21 to 28% protein content. And while it is doing that, it is simultaneously fixing nitrogen from the air and depositing it directly into your soil, somewhere between 60 and 90 pounds of nitrogen per acre per year. That is free fertilizer pulled from the atmosphere, given to your garden for nothing. But here is where most growers miss the real value of this plant. They treat pigeon peas like annual beans. They plant them in a row, harvest, and pull them out at the end of the season. That completely misses the point. Use pigeon peas as nurse plants for your young fruit trees. Plant them around a new jujube or pomegranate. They feed the tree with nitrogen. They cast light afternoon shade that cools the soil and reduces moisture loss. And while they're doing all of that, they're producing your protein crop at the same time. 1 planting, 3 functions. A completely self-sustaining system that asks almost nothing from you. This one right here, the pigeon pea paired with a fruit tree. This is one of the most underused combinations in backyard food growing. If you have tried this before, or if you're going to try it after watching this, leave a comment and tell me. I want to hear about your setup. Plant 7, Jerusalem artichoke. I told you at the beginning that plant number 7 might be the most important food plant you have never tried. I meant that. Up to 92 tons per hectare. That is the documented yield potential of the Jerusalem artichoke, a native North American perennial sunflower that most American gardeners have never even grown once. To put that number into context, a good commercial corn crop produces around 10 to 12 tons per hectare. The Jerusalem artichoke can produce 8 times that in soil that corn would struggle to survive in, with no irrigation, no fertilizer, and no replanting. Here is how it handles heat and drought. Under water stress, the Jerusalem artichoke does something almost no other crop does. It actively increases its root surface area. It grows more roots to find more water. It accumulates protective compounds in its cells to keep its tissues alive through dry periods. Certain varieties have been shown to maintain strong yields even through mid-season drought that devastates everything else in the garden. The harvest is underground tubers called sunchokes, protected from surface heat, protected from animals, sitting safely in the cool soil, waiting until the first frost signals that it is time to dig them up. You do not even have to harvest them all. Leave some in the ground, and they will come back even stronger next year. Now here is the part that food scientists are paying close attention to. Sunchokes are loaded with a carbohydrate called inulin. Inulin does not spike blood sugar the way regular starch does. That makes the Jerusalem artichoke one of the most valuable long-term food security crops available for diabetics, for people managing blood sugar, and honestly for anyone thinking seriously about food independence. Plant them once. They will reach 6 to 10 feet tall. They will shade out weeds completely. They will spread underground year after year without any help from you. Some growers call them the plant you can never get rid of. For a food security garden, that is exactly what you want. All right, let us bring it all together. 7 plants that do not just survive without water. They produce food, feed your soil, and build themselves back stronger every single year. Number 1. The Chinese jujube, up to 100 pounds of fruit per tree. Zone 6 through 10. Deep roots, almost zero care after year 2. Number 2, the pomegranate. Loves heat, loves alkaline soil, produces for 40 years or longer. Number 3, prickly pear cactus. The only food crop on Earth that keeps growing at 149 degrees. Dual harvest, fire protection, zero irrigation. Number 4, the fig year. Drops its leaves to survive drought, then leafs back out and fruits again within days of rain. 2 crops per year. Number 5, the mulberry. 34% protein in the leaves, enormous fruit yields, and one of the best companion trees for a livestock and poultry system. Number 6, pigeon pea. Your heat-proof protein legume. Fixes nitrogen, nourishes young fruit trees, and produces a real food crop at the same time. Number 7, Jerusalem artichoke. The most productive food plant most people have never grown. Plant it once, and it feeds you for the rest of your life. Now I want to hear from you. Which one of these 7 are you going to plant first? Or if you're already growing one of them, tell me how it is going. Drop it in the comments. I genuinely read every single one, and I want to know what is actually working in your garden. If this video gave you something useful, share it with one person who is trying to grow their own food. That is how this kind of knowledge spreads. And make sure you are subscribed because the next video connects directly to what we covered today, and you're going to want to see it. I will see you there.